Hello React Native developers, what is going on? William here, streaming from Zurich, Switzerland. I hope you guys are well. I wanted to make a stream this evening. This week we did the Flipboard example, which was really cool. It has this nice 3D effect, so we can see it here. It was pretty fun, but I was very frustrated because first of all, the recording was done with the wrong microphone, so the audio quality was really not good, and also there were really a lot to unpack in this example. There is first the gesture we need to use in order to achieve the effect. There's the actual 3D transformation, and then there is the way we need to orchestrate all the images together, the front face, so cropping all the images and into halves, and then setting properly the front face and back face, and handling the edge cases, such as when there is no more stories to scroll through either in one direction or the other. And so today I wanted to make something a bit more simple, just some simple 3D transformations. React Native has a great API for 3D transformations. We did the Instagram example also, which was pretty cool, where we had this cube rotation of pictures. And yeah, so I thought, just turn the stream on and let's do something cool together. Let me check if everything is okay with the stream. So let me know, guys, if something is wrong with the sound or the image. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna create a new project using Expo init. Let's call it 3D animations. All right, thank you guys. Hello everyone. Yes, the video will always be available later. That's a question you guys are often asking. And yeah, the goal today is to, let's just do something simple together. And what I would like to do is to just take like a playing card, and we're gonna overlay a scroll view on top of it and to drive the animation. And then we're gonna flip the playing card on its own. So let's see how. So here I just created a new project using Expo init. And since now I'm using TypeScript, I wrote a small script that can transform my project that is created with Expo init into a TypeScript project. So I'm just gonna run this script. It's in React Native init. I think that should work. Hello guys, it's great to see you joining the chat. I didn't plan any schedule for this stream. Probably in the future I will try to schedule a little bit in advance. But yeah, this evening I just felt like it to just turn it on and try to do something. So yeah, I have my project created. So we can just and so you see it's a pretty pretty basic project created by Expo init, but the app.js file has been renamed into app.tsx. And we have a tsconfig file that is already configured for React Native project. And it contains the ESLint rules that support TypeScript, which I find to be really cool. As soon basically I knew that I could use both ESLint and TypeScript at the same time, for me it was clear that I would switch from Flow to TypeScript. I do find the ESLint plugin in the React Native ecosystem to be extremely powerful. So I created my own plugin, so I can it's on GitHub, so I can I use the same rules in all my projects. So of course you can use different rules, but I absolutely recommend you to check it out to see how the TypeScript support is configured with our ESLint. I think it's really amazing what the community is doing in this space, and I'm so glad that now we can use both ESLint and TypeScript together. It's kind of it feels like a little bit of an holy grail. But so let's get started, and I think what we're gonna do, so we have our basic container. So we're gonna create a card container, which is gonna contain our playing card. And just so import card. Can create a folder called components, card component. Okay. And so here I have some PNGs for the playing cards, which I can put into the assets. Perfect. And so I'm gonna have a front image, and a back image, which is kind of like in the Flipboard example. Also, we were passing two images, the front and the back. And so I think if I can open it here, or maybe if I can open it with Finder, just to... Hello guys, it's great to see you join the chat. That's so cool. So the image size is, I'm just gonna, the width is 368 434, and for now I'm gonna overlay the two images on top of each other. So we have front, back. And we overlay the front on top of the back. And since we know, okay, here we can get already, we need to do an absolute position fill on, yeah, so we can do it actually already. So I'm going to create a style for the image. So we need to import a style sheet from React Native. I'm really wondering what's creating this sound issue. That's really annoying. Let me check. Audio. Can you guys still hear me, and is it better? One, two, three, guys. Can you hear me? So is it better? Okay. I think I might have found the issue. So I think that was also the issue in the previous stream. Cool. Wow. So I'm glad I finally found the issue. Sorry about that. I'm pretty new with this. So cool, but I'm glad I found it. Sorry. Okay, so let's create a style for the images. Thank you guys, really appreciate it. Up. So we do an absolute position fill. We want them to be superposed on top of each other. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And here for the aspect ratio to be, I mean, here we could actually set, we want the aspect ratio to be preserved. So there is this trick, right, where we can set, we do an absolute position fill, and we can set the width and height to undefined. Here, in this case, we know the exact width and height, but I'm gonna put undefined, which is up. We could put the actual height and width as well. So we need to give the front, oops, and the back as parameter. Let me I just want to make this one into a style as well quickly. My computer is pretty laggy actually when I stream, so that's why sometimes it's a bit slow for me to type. I have a lot of delay every time I'm not sure why. It's so funny because if I were to play a video game, like this would just not work. But I'm just trying to write some TypeScript and it's already too much. My laptop is going crazy. The what do you call it? The fan is going crazy. But anyways, style sheet. Okay. And so in component did mount, we're gonna load the images because using Expo asset loading. So component did mount. Front card in asset back. So we import asset from Expo. It's great to see you guys too. Up, and I think it should be called load async. Yes. So front, we're gonna put them into an array. So actually await promise all front back, and once it's loaded we put it into the state. So yeah, there is a little bit of boilerplate. We haven't touched yet we haven't done any free stuff yet, but hopefully we are almost there. I mean, we don't need to do all this stuff actually, but you know, I just like to have it clean. So we're gonna have an app state, but so we're gonna show the splash screen until the PNGs are loaded. So a front and okay. And so if the card is null, we show the splash screen. So the app loading component from Expo. Yeah, perfect. And yeah, I need to add app state. Okay. Oh, I have the wrong. This is not a string. It's image source, maybe source prop type. Okay. Okay, we'll see this one later. And yeah, I can just pass the image directly. just put it here. Okay, let's have a look. There's a set state typo. Oh, thank you. You guys are good. Cool, thanks. Awesome. Okay. So now I need to run Expo on the project. Okay. All right. This might take a while. My laptop seems to be somehow overloaded. Not sure what's... Okay, so fully should get there soon. Hello Lamar, good to see you. I'm trying to find out what is using so much CPU while this loads, but doesn't seem to, it's not clear. I had Docker, which was taking a lot of memory. I just shut it down. But okay. So we have the front of the playing card. Oops. So now let's add, so in app, we can add transparent ScoreView, and we're going to use it to drive the animation, the rotation, the 3D rotation of the card. Up. So an empty ScoreView with an absolute fill. We're going to use an horizontal one, and it needs to be actually animated, and we're going to use Reanimated from Expo, which is in the danger zone. we use Reanimated because, I mean, React Native gesture handler and React Native Reanimated are awesome. That's, to me, that's really the way to go. So yeah, that's the only two libraries I use to for doing animation and gesture handling. Even for simple stuff, it's just so much better. I find it to be so much better. So animated from the danger zone. Up. So it's animated.ScoreView, and I always forget the parameters, but we can take it from a previous example on GitHub. For instance, which one? The Instagram. Let's take the Instagram actually. So we have our ScoreView here. Ref we don't need. Okay, let's just copy these guys. Hello Matteo, thank you so much, really appreciate it. So show horizontal scrolling indicator false. Yeah, that's good. Event throttle, I think we don't need it. Snap to interval, we can remove it for now. So deceleration rate, we can remove it also for now. Content container style, here we're gonna do with times 2. So we want, if we have, so the scroll view has no content, so there's nothing to scroll. So we need to create some, because it's an empty scroll view. So we put some with in the content container style, so we have something to scroll and we can drive the animation value. And I think here we're gonna do with times 2. It's actually pretty arbitrary, the value you want to set here. So I'm gonna import dimensions. Oops. So today we are doing something extremely simple. We are just gonna rotate a flip in 3 dimensions, a playing card in React Native. So one of the most basic 3D transformation, but I just wanted to do it because in the Flipboard example, first of all, the audio was screwed up and there were like a lot going on. So I really wanted to focus on this part, do something extremely simple. And also sometimes in the comments of the YouTube videos, some people ask, okay, this is cool, but how can I learn so I can understand what's going on in the video? So I thought, to do something a bit more chill would be good. And that helped me to fix the audio, so that's very good. So we have the with times 2, and now we need to create a value for x, so that's perfect. New. Okay, and now we solve the audio issue. Maybe next time I'll have some music in the background. I don't know. Maybe couldn't make it a bit more entertaining. What do you guys think? I'm not sure. But hopefully the streaming will improve over time. So we get value from animated. And to debug. So let's try if it works. So here we have the playing card, and we can just, to debug, we can log the animation value. And the way you do this in Reanimated is a bit different from the way you would do it with the animated API from React Native, which I think you do a add listener, but add listener is not implemented in Reanimated. But we can use a callback, and we can use the call function that listens to animated values. So for instance here X, and when the value change, you can use it to invoke some JavaScript. So I can just use it here. Here I use it to debug the animation value, but usually what you do is once an animation is over, you want to call back into the JavaScript userland, and this is what you do with call. So the benefit of React Native Reanimated is that you can declare everything on the native side, but then at some point when certain actions are being done, you want the native side to call back into the JavaScript side. So that's what this function does. And so I need to import the call function from Animated. I think my VS Code theme is Palnite operator. I think some other people in the chat can confirm that. I really like it too. I think it looks very good. Okay, so here we have 0. And if I scroll, and here you see basically I'm having the bounce values, which I can keep for now. So we can disable the bouncing effect on iOS. Let's leave it for now. So here we have a proper animation value, which we can pass to the card, and then we can use it to do the 3D animation finally. So I can just pass X. And I'm gonna import. So I need here the same guys. To do the transformations, we are going to wrap every images into an animated view. Yeah, so Reanimated is extremely low level, and even to do the simplest interaction, it's a lot of work. For instance, you know, at some point we did the Tinder swiping, and so which is like a fairly simple gesture and animation. It was really a lot of work. You need to take care actually of a lot of things for this to work. And now really what I do is, because it's so low level, is that I go in the Reanimated repository, React Native Reanimated. And in the example folder, I'm basically reusing code from the example folder. So for instance, they have an example to do color interpolation using Reanimated. Color interpolation using Reanimated, I find it to be way more powerful in compared to what you have with the how do you call it, vanilla React Native animated API, much powerful, but so low level. There is so much work to do that, I mean, basically, if you don't copy and paste the examples from Reanimated, you have no chance, basically. So that's one example. There is another one which is interactable, which is a very convenient component you can use to implement snapping gestures, like the Tinder example. That's what we use in the Flipboard example. It has also like callbacks. You really can do a lot with it. And so, yeah, that's what I do now at the moment. At the beginning, when I got started, I was really just like, trying to do it myself. And then now I realize, like, I mean, they do it in the examples. They do it so much better that I just copy and paste from the examples. And another one is the image viewer. So if you want to zoom on an image, if you want to do it yourself and, leveraging the focal points, it's actually extremely hard to do. But you can just, use the component that they provide from the example, and it works out of the box very well. So that's with my recommendation regarding Reanimated. And so we have our views. We need to apply some style. So first of all, we need to set the absolute fill on both. So now let's rotate the card. So we're going to add a transform. Oops, it's an array. And so we need to rotate on the y-axis, right? It needs to flip on its own. So we're going to have a rotate y. We should have it on the back as well, actually. And the rotate y, we're going to interpolate it from the x value. So we go from 0 to width times 2. And output range goes from 0 to 180, right? 180 degrees. So here you'll notice a difference again with a difference between Reanimated and the vanilla animated API from React Native is that here the rotation values is a numeric value, and then we use a concat to either like set degrees or regions. And so actually maybe I can do it here. You know what? Let me keep this value. It might be useful later. So as degrees, and then we create rotate y, which is a concat of rotate y as degrees, and we add degrees. Output range, thank you. And so now we need to import a couple of things. We need concat, interpolate, and we need the width. You are catching all of my typos. That's amazing. So cool. Width. Okay. Let's do just the front face for now. See how it looks. Oh, well, let's. So here this is okay, right? Because this is a type definition. Or do I? So here we see the rotation, but you see it looks like 2D because we didn't add any perspective. And so that's actually but it's so strange. It's I don't know why it's so slow. Even I'm not sure what's going on. But so we need to add some perspective. But on Android, beware that there is already some default perspective set. So I think I can do like this. So that's a bit of a sticky point when doing 3D animations. In React Native. On iOS, everything is always pixel perfect. It's always great. For in the Instagram example, for the Flipboard example, it's always great. On Android, and I had a friend that also worked on a 3D animation in one of his apps, and he basically had the same issue, is that on Android, because there's already some perspective set for by default for every view, you cannot control exactly how the animation is going to look like. And so, for instance, if you have like different shapes and things need like to perfectly look like they perfectly go together on Android, this is going to be extremely difficult to do. That's always the sticky point with Android and 3D transformations. So here I would create a variable called perspective if platform OS is iOS. I can set it to 1000 maybe, and if not, we can set it to 25. This should work. So now if we run this again, it might look a little bit better. So yeah, it looks, but something is off. This I shouldn't need to specify, I think, because I'm using Reanimated. So something feels very off. Okay. Let me just do the front. Yes, that's correct. Good point. You guys are so good. Yeah, that should be one to with, and maybe I'm gonna also disable the bounce. It seems to and I wanted to check something else. No, that looks good. Okay, so much better. So we go, but still you see like it's pretty laggy somehow, and is it because my laptop is, but I'm running this on the phone, so I'm not sure. Even if my laptop is really overwhelmed right now, I'm not sure why this is not running smoothly at all. I don't think it's because of the scroll event throttle, but let me just try it quickly. There is no chance, but it's just so strange. Ah, yes. So that was, wow, really crazy. Okay. So that was because of the scroll event throttle. So now you see it's like super smooth. Hello, friends. So today we are trying to flip a playing card in 3D. And this has been very laborious so far, but I think, okay, this is cool. So, okay, good to know. I thought somehow this was not necessary anymore, but it is, so perfect. And using native driver true, I think this one we really don't need, but yeah. So, okay, now let's look. So what we want to do here, because we, so now we have the back face. So we're gonna set the back face. So here the back face is hidden because we have two layers on top of each other, right? So what we need to do, there is a property that is called BackFace Visibility false. So because here when we rotate, what you see basically is the back face of the view that is in front. So we need to hide this when we rotate. Yeah, thank you, Kathleen. I somehow thought, I'm not sure why, I always used event throttle 16, but I thought at some point that it was not necessary anymore. But anyways, and I for sure have built example where I removed it and I know that I need to put it back. But so here we can use back face visibility hidden. And now the back of the playing card should appear. And so here you see the back. So that's fun. What happens here is that what you are actually seeing is the back face of the back image. So meaning that here the image is rotated. Here we don't care because it's like it's just an image. But I guess if we were to add some text on the back of the card, it wouldn't. We would need to rotate it basically to look in the right direction. I'm actually wondering if that's something we can try. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, no, I know I've learned my lesson. That was pretty embarrassing. Yeah, so let's try this one. So let's try to add some text maybe. I'm gonna need to add some style. Justify content center. What I'm gonna do after this stream is that I'm gonna grab all my repos and to see where I forgot to add the event scroll throttle. So align item centers. So you see, the hello doesn't, because what you're seeing here is just the back face of, and I think even actually what you can do is that if we hide the back face of the back, because actually what you want to see is the front face of the back. So you see here you see nothing, and so what we need to do here is to rotate the back face. So we rotate it on the y-axis to 180 degrees, right? Am I Thinking about it correctly, I think so. Or minus. Let's see. And so you see, now we have it perfect. Cool. Actually, now that I fixed, let's add the bounce back. Should be cool. So I think that BackFace Visibility support has been shipped in React Native, so that's no problem. For Android, so in previous version was not supported on Android. The version of Expo I'm using right now is not supporting BackFace Visibility, but if so you're running version of React Native that is not supporting BackFace Visibility, you can implement it yourself very easily by adding some opacity. So you know what, let's assume you don't have BackFace Visibility. I think you can implement it yourself very easily by adding some opacity value, which I can add here and here. And so this is, so by the way, so this is a bug on Android which I mentioned, where it's hard to control the perspective on Android when you do 3D animations in React Native. And this is the implementation of BackFace Visibility on Android. So if you don't have support for BackFace Visibility in your version, you can just implement it yourself by setting the opacity for certain values of the rotation, which is exactly what the native side is doing on Android. And because with Reanimated you can declare these things on the native side, it's exactly the equivalent implementation. So so here we rotate on Y, so we need to look for this value. So this condition we can declare it on the native side using Reanimated. So I'm going to create opacity equals, so we have an and so we have and greater or equal, or is it called in Reanimated? I need to check quickly. Greater than or equal, so greater or than 80. And you see, that's why I knew it would be useful to keep the animation value in degrees and not as a string. So that's the first condition. And the second one is rotation less than 80, so less than and the condition is so what is the condition? If we go back to the Android implementation, it's visible if this is true, so opacity should be 1, if not 0. I think it's just cool that we can, with Reanimated, we can just basically copy paste native code to the JavaScript, and it has the same effect essentially and same performance. And greater or equal less than. This is a project using Expo init. So it's not working. Am I doing, so let's see. Okay, backface. So am I setting it? Should be 0 or 1, maybe. Okay, now the rotation is off because we reverted here the okay, because I think we should do the rotation here after. No. So this is a rotate that so I think here there's two ways to solve this issue. So since now we change the rotation here, or I think we can either, or maybe should I set perspective first? It's not working very well. Let me just okay, never mind. So I'm gonna, but I've tried it and it works. I've tried it in the Flipboard example. Actually, the Flipboard example is using this, so you can go back to, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. But that's one way you can, so you can, I mean, actually we can check it out directly on the repo. So, oops, sorry. So if we go to stories, so we have 0, 1, or 0. Here we rotate, so on the back face we rotate the, here we change the axis of rotation, so that's the true translate Y. And we have, so we have true opacity, back opacity, which is the opposite. That makes sense because we rotate it, and we have opacity. Okay, so let's try if this works. So const okay. So now the front, so opacity is wrong. Did I? Sorry, it was minus 80 and 80. Sorry about that. Okay, so you see, so we have exactly the same animation now, but without the BackFace Visibility implementation. And so one last thing maybe we can do is, so here you see it, it's rotating on its in the middle axis, and maybe you want to change the rotation axis. That was the case in the Flipboard example. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. So the way we can do this, let's say we want to, so the width of the card is, where is it written? So it's, the width of the card is 306. So let's say if we want to rotate to one of the edges of the card, we would need to translate so translate the x to the width divided by 2, so which would be 153, and then put back the card in place by translating by minus 153. So that's what I really love about the React Native Animation API, is that in order to express, so no, for the back face, okay, so we do rotate on the edges, but why is the back? Something is off here. Do I need to revert it for the back face? Because of the 180 rotation. Yes, so you see it now, it's okay. And what I really like about the Animated API is that the transformation matrix for actually all this transformation is, I think, pretty complex. And here you really like think about it in terms of sequentially. So I find it for the mind to be extremely simple, because you're like, so yeah, first the perspective, then okay, I'm rotating my axis like this, and then I move it here, rotate, move it back, and then that's my final transformation. And I find this mental model like much easier to do. Behind the scenes, they're using like a regular 4x4 transformation matrix, but I think for us it's like so much better to think about it in these terms. So yeah, we change the rotation axis. So I think, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, guys, for bearing with me during the struggle, and thank you so much for your help. You guys are awesome. I'm so glad you helped me with all the little bugs. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the stream. Let me know what you think. Let me know also, if you have any suggestions. You can reach me by email, or put a comment in the video, or yeah, I'm also on Twitter. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and in the meantime, happy hacking.